The Buddha and the Swan. In the serene gardens of Kapilavastu, a young prince named Siddhartha, who would later be known as the Buddha, roamed freely. His heart was filled with compassion, and his actions were always guided by kindness. He was deeply connected to nature and all living beings, showing empathy and love to every creature he encountered. One bright morning, as Siddhartha wandered through the gardens, he heard a loud commotion. Curious, he followed the sound and soon discovered his cousin, Devadatta, with a bow in hand, an arrow nocked, and a look of triumph on his face. At his feet lay a beautiful swan, wounded by the arrow. The swan, with its elegant feathers and gentle eyes, was struggling to breathe, its life hanging by a thread. Siddhartha's heart ached at the sight of the suffering bird. He rushed to the swan's side, gently lifting it into his arms. With a soothing voice, he spoke to the frightened creature, "Do not fear, dear swan. I will take care of you." Devadatta, seeing Siddhartha's act of compassion, laughed cruelly. "Why bother, Siddhartha? The swan is mine. I shot it, so it belongs to me," he said arrogantly. Siddhartha, his eyes filled with sorrow for the swan, replied calmly, "The swan's life is precious. It does not belong to the one who harms it but to the one who saves it." The argument grew heated, and Devadatta, unwilling to back down, decided to take the matter to the elders of the town. They were known for their wisdom and fairness. Siddhartha and Devadatta were summoned to the council of elders, where the wise old men sat in solemn silence, their eyes reflecting the wisdom of ages. The elders listened to both sides. Devadatta argued fiercely, "I shot the swan, so it is mine. I should have the right to decide its fate." Siddhartha, holding the swan gently in his arms, spoke softly, "The swan was injured and needed help. It belongs to the one who saved its life, not to the one who sought to take it." The eldest of the elders, a man whose beard flowed like silver silk and whose eyes were pools of ancient knowledge, spoke with a voice that resonated with calm authority. "The life of a being is sacred. The one who shows mercy, who saves a life, has a greater claim than the one who seeks to destroy it. The swan's life is in the hands of the one who protected it." With these wise words, the council declared that Siddhartha, with his compassionate heart and actions, was the true guardian of the swan. Devadatta, humiliated and defeated, could only watch in silence as the elders' decision was made final. Siddhartha continued to care for the swan, nursing its wounds with tender care. He fed it and protected it from harm, his heart full of love and his mind at peace. Days turned into weeks, and the swan's health gradually improved, its once weak wings gaining strength. One morning, as the sun cast its golden rays over the gardens, the swan, now fully healed, stood up and spread its wings. It looked at Siddhartha with gratitude in its eyes, and with a final, triumphant flap, it soared into the sky, free once more. Siddhartha watched it disappear into the horizon, a smile of satisfaction and serenity on his face. He had saved a life, and in doing so, he had reaffirmed the values of compassion and nonviolence that would guide his path to enlightenment. The townspeople, who had witnessed the entire incident, were deeply moved by Siddhartha's wisdom and kindness. They praised his actions, and word of his compassion spread far and wide. The story of the Buddha and the swan became a beloved tale, reminding everyone that true power lies not in dominance or harm, but in love, compassion, and the courage to protect life. Moral of the story. The story of the Buddha and the swan teaches us that true ownership and worth are defined by our actions of compassion and kindness. It emphasizes that saving a life and showing mercy are the greatest virtues, and it is through such actions that we find true fulfillment and peace.
Thanks for listening to Podcast Stories. Don't forget to subscribe to get more updates.